pleased to be presenting here. I think our project hopefully fits in very, very well with all the other projects that we've been talking about. Fatima is a head teacher of the Peace School. I work at Goldsmiths, and we're going to do our double act as well. And it's lovely that Fatima's work that she's going to show you, the film that she's going to show you, is the explorer Ibn Battuta, who was a famous Arabic explorer. So it kind of follows on really nicely from what we've been hearing about the Arabian Nights. Critical Connections came about very much wanting to work with secondary age children, but also working with teachers out in schools. And I think the big thing about our project was trying to connect teachers across the teaching of languages. So it was English as an additional language, but also teachers of Chinese, Arabic, Greek, German, French, Bengali, and have a look at forming partnerships between complementary schools and mainstream schools, and also looking at how teachers as creative practitioners can embed this work into their schools, and looking at how something like digital storytelling, how students can be the people who pick up the cameras. They're the ones who can frame the pictures, they're the ones that make the films, and they're the ones that tell their stories. So our project was very, very much about students being given that voice in their own languages, often their home languages, to be able to tell those stories. But also that teachers do want the space to be creative, but they need support to do that. And that's the same in mainstream schools as it is in complementary schools. So we did a lot of work around digital storytelling, which comes out of theatre and education background. And it's very much about the telling of the story as well as the making of the film. And multilingual was a really important part of it. So lots of digital storytelling has been going on in America for a long time, but without the languages, really, without thinking about how this could be used to make bilingual stories. So the stories that we've made in the project are bilingual. That often means there's a voiceover in the home language or the target language, and then subtitles in English. And we've worked with a whole range of schools. And it's also the element of the intercultural is really important, so that students could comment on each other's films, they could comment on films from schools in other countries, and they had a window into the lives of others, and I think that's a really important part of it. Our research assistant created this wonderful picture of trying to connect up places as well. So we've heard about sites of learning, we've heard about how when you're in the home it might frame the languages differently, when you're in school it might do, when you're online it might. And our project was very much about making connections across all these sites of learning and thinking about how our students, usually aged between the ages of about 8 and 16, the students we work with, are making those connections, and they're the ones that are walking between all these worlds all the time. So that's another kind of like idea about all these critical connections. So it's very much about asking questions. It was very much about, well, we can't teach in a very didactic way if we want students to be creative. It's about, we've heard a little bit about kind of creating collaboratively, and that was a lot about what these films were about. It was about students. Often students in schools don't get the chance to create something together. And so it's very much about that effort, about working together, but working towards deadlines. And so they're working towards a film festival each year that was at Goldsmiths, and that was a big event for them to be able to stand up and present their films and that they'd created themselves. A digital story is a 3 to 5 minute film. The stories that you see, they're not perfect stories. They are stories that have come out of students' lives. The first theme that we did was Inside Out. So it's very much about students wanting to express a certain part of them and share that. The second year it was about journeys, and this year we're kind of moving a little bit more towards pushing them towards thinking about certain issues. So it's about fairness, it's about social justice. And the multimodal is really important, and also obviously the kind of the storytelling which I talked about and the multilingual side of things. These are the schools that we're working with. It was a 2-year funded project, and we just got funding for another 2 years. So we're moving forward with multilingual digital storytelling now. And it's critical connections to, these are the schools, so it's quite London-centric in terms of the schools we're working with here. But we're also working with these schools abroad. So we've got a school in Palestine, a school in Algeria where Fatima used to go to, it's got lots of connections, used to go to school, and schools in Taiwan as well, and now in America. We've also got key partners this year with the next 2-year project. So we've got the NRCSE, the National Resource Centre for Supplementary Education. Pascal's here, which is wonderful. We've got the Museum of London, and Emma's here from there. And we've also got the BFI, the British Film Institute, who are linked with it. And so this year, the films will be shown at South Bank, at the British Film Institute. And so that's a really exciting part of the project for the students involved in it. I'm going to pass over now because I wanted Fatima to give you kind of insight into what it's like being a teacher on the ground, doing this for the very first time, having not done filming with students before, and where she's taken her students to. So Fatima.
So I'll be talking about my experience as a teacher. I'm a head teacher and teacher as well who teaches students in my school who does GCSEs, A-level, and non-Arabic background speakers as well. And the time I heard about the use of creativity and digital storytelling with the Goldsmiths University, I thought, because I've practiced the CLIL before, which is Content Language Integrated Learning, where students created their own stories, but not filming. And I found that there were loads of interaction from the students, and there is like more creativity than me giving them as my way of traditional way, giving them homework and come back with it. So when I heard about the project, I thought that might be a good thing for me, who comes from a different background. I'm not mainstream schools, I'm not private school, we are supplementary schools who suffers a lot from places, from funding, from all this. And our students tend to, when they turn to the age of 12, 13, they feel that we are very traditional because we use the books that we have that comes from back home, and this is something that we lack. We're not like the mainstream schools sometimes in languages. So we started the project, and the first year, because I was working with non-Arabic background speakers who are the books for them that's the language. And I always believe the language is not between the four walls. It's something it is real, it is authentic. You go to a country without a book and you have to do everything to understand. So that my belief made me not push but encourage the student that you can do it. And I had Malaysian students who thought that if I live by the books, I can't do anything with this language. So with my help, and encouraging them, they created a film about profiteroles, and it was amazing. This is why the first year it was flexible. We didn't feel it. So everyone had the chance to do whatever they feel confident with. So these 4 girls, they said, okay, miss, can we do something about cooking? I said, go ahead, do it. And they created an amazing film about how to make profiteroles. And another student who was as well non-background speakers, he loved dancing. Even in the classroom, he's moving. So he said, okay, can I do something about street dancing? I said, go ahead. And he created an amazing film. They are all in Goldsmiths University's website. And now so this is why the first year, it was building their confidence. It's a film, yes, I know you don't have the book, but you will be learning about translation, you will be learning about assessment, you will be learning, and with Goldsmith, we developed like a software which is called Voice Thread, where students put their films, and other students, even when they don't see them, they can assess them, in a relaxing way, and there's a bit of confidence. Then because we had the aim that it's not a film only, you're learning a language. So it has to be assessment criteria to judge this film. So the first year, Goldsmiths University sent me 3 films from the BBC, where my students watched them, and they created their own criteria to assess a film. But this year, I don't do that. I've got my own films to show my new students, which is great improvement. So the second year, 2013, we moved from flexibility, be free, whatever you want to do, to a theme. And I asked the student I wrote 10 themes, because I had students from GCSE, 2 students from AS, and students from, they don't have to do exams. It's a free only to learn a language. They're from non-Arabic background speakers. So I did 10 themes, and I asked them to vote which theme they want to write about or make a film about, and they chose a day in my life, all of them. Like they ticked, and we chose one. So, and the films they created, they were amazing. One about Lebanon, one about traveling to Malaysia, they were different films. And I had, of course, before I do the film, they start to do film, I have to model it. I did my a day in my life, a trip to Cumbria, where I went with the girls, and I showed them a film, and they had to assess it, and they told me it's boring. To be honest, I wasn't so the way they wanted me, so I was giving them a story that happened, they didn't like it, so I go. Then I had to create vocabulary for them, then they started to do the filming. Of course, with the help of Goldsmiths, there was a discussion of which stage they should be like a well-structured way to get to this film at the end. So there were 9 stages to finalize or get to the end of multilingual digital storytelling. Of course, selecting a theme, which we did. Identifying learning objectives. I had non-Arabic background speakers that I need to deal with. I had GCSE students that I had to deal with, and I had AS students. So for non-Arabic background speakers, building their confidence, knowing grammar, which through the profiterole, they learned the imperative verbs, do, put, a mix. And they were realizing this is a structure of an imperative verb in Arabic. And this and that, so they learned few things that they couldn't learn if I stand there telling them this is this and this is that. With the GCSE students, it was improving their speaking and listening, although they are Arabic background speakers, but their Arabic is Arabic of back home. They don't have the classical Arabic. With the AS students, we had to add up a bit of analyzing their films. So that's the objective that I had to work around through creative of the films. Exploration of the story. Of course, I had to be involved in it. I have to be modeling the film. I have to prepare vocabulary. They had to explore the film, the theme, before they go and explore it themselves. Planning of digital storytelling. Of course, we have to prepare them as the next media skills. We agreed with Goldsmiths University to use the Photo Story 3, which is easy. Upload pictures, put them there, but it has got the voice, speaking, and everything is in the software. But the students, they went beyond that. They went to iMovie, Movie Maker, because they wanted videos put in while Photo Story, you cannot put video, it's only pictures. And they did their own research. They looked for pictures, scripting, storyboarding, and reviewing, editing, all that was going through to the film.
We better go for it.
Yes, now I think I will let you go and watch the film.
Yeah. This is just, I think we're running out of time, so
yes.
We're just going to show you about 2 minutes of the film. These are some pictures of Fatima's students.
The theme, what they had to choose from 10 themes.
Working on Ibn Battuta. And what's lovely about Ibn Battuta is they scripted it all, they worked on it, and there's a little bit that will show you that's where they're in the market, so they've got to think about using colloquial Arabic as well as standard Arabic that they change into. And I saw it all in progress, so it was great. That's peer assessment that we're doing for the films, and here's the film.
هيا جهزوا أنفسكم لدرس الجغرافيا. ابن بطوطة، هل أنت معنا أم في عالم آخر؟ هيا تقدم وقف أمام الصف. لقد ولدت في دولة المغرب. بلد متحضر وأنت من عائلة غنية وهم يحافظون على تقاليد الإسلام ومنحوك تعلم القراءة والكتابة والفقه، ولذا يجب أن تهتم أكثر بطلب العلم. اذهب واجلس الآن. لا عليك. حسنا، قبل بدء الدرس دعني أسألكم عن المكان الذي تودون زيارته لو سمحت لكم الفرصة.
أريد أن أذهب إلى الجزائر.
إلى أين تريدين الذهاب؟
أريد أن أذهب إلى مراكش.
إلى أين تريد الذهاب؟
أتمنى أن أذهب إلى موريتانيا.
ماذا عنك يا ابن بطوطة؟
أتمنى أن أزور العالم.
Okay, that was just to leave it on that. So summary of some of the research findings that we found from the first project. Probably thinking about transformative pedagogy as we go on through the day, I think is a really important part of what we're talking about. And Fatima's talked about the website, so if you do want to see, and these are some of the new elements. So I think we've talked about drama a lot. We're very lucky as well to have Chrisos in the audience today, who works at the Greek school, head teacher there, and she's brought lots of drama into the digital storytelling and also a music element. And that's the website. I've got lots of research flyers and a teacher's handbook that we created as part of it that I should have sent in earlier, but I was ill last week, so didn't. So if people do want a research flyer, I've got a few extras. I think we're going to finish there. Yeah, thank you.